Welcome to When Good Things Happen, where our mission is to inspire people to discover and learn about all the things that can really make the golden years the very best of your life and share a few financial ideas to help you make your vision for retirement a reality. Host Tom Gandolfi is your guide on a how-to adventure to help enhance your retirement lifestyle.
Welcome back to When Good Things Happen. This is Tom Gandolfi, your host, and today we've got another great guest on, and it's early in the year, and we're all looking forward to a great 2022. And one of the things that a lot of us focus on early in the year and tend to lose focus on it as the year goes on is our health. And on this show, we talk a lot about how to make retirement great. We talk about vacations and hobbies and things you can do and financial strategies and all of that. But none of it matters at all unless you're healthy. So today I brought in a guest that's going to talk about being healthy in retirement. And her name is Jenny Herman. She owns a business called Way Better with Jenny. And Jenny is a certified personal trainer and a nutrition coach. And I thought it would be really helpful to get to know her a little bit, talk about what she does, and maybe get a few ideas about how you can approach your health moving forward and make 2020 your best year yet. So, hey, Jenny, how are you?
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good to see you. Good to see you. So, gave you the little introduction there. I know you're a certified personal trainer.
Yes, sir.
And you're a nutrition coach. And a lot of the folks that listen to my podcast here are my clients. And my clients are retirees or people that are preparing for retirement. So, as we get older, our bodies show a little wear and tear here and there, and gets a little harder to take care of ourselves. We can't just, jump out of bed and go run 6 miles and whatever else. But I thought it would be really helpful for you to kind of give them some ideas on how they could keep themselves healthy. But first, I want to kind of ask you about you.
Sure.
So, mentioned you're a certified personal trainer and you're a nutrition coach. So how'd you get into this?
Well, that's a great question. First of all, one thing you need to know is I've actually lived with a registered dietitian most of my life. My mom is a registered dietitian. She is now in her 70s, so I can relate a lot with your clients because my parents are right there. They're both graduates of 1969, so they just hit 70 this year and enjoying life. So a lot of what I teach, I was brought up that way. And so that's really, I would have to say that my mom was the one that got me the most interested in health and fitness, but it is not what I have always done throughout my life. And I've also had times in my life when I wasn't the most healthy or most
We
fit.
all have, I think.
Yes. So I've been there, which I think
I'm kind of right there right now.
which I think is really helpful with my clients and people that I work with, because I do have that empathy. I understand. I have been there. But honestly, to go back and to answer your question, what got me here? After I had children, I really was at that time in my life, I was like, I've got to get back into exercise and have a moment in the day where I can put myself first, right? Because as moms, we're all over the place.
Oh, yeah. You're giving everybody else and you kind of forget about yourself.
Exactly. So I started with a personal trainer and enjoyed it. His name was Steve, and he saw my passion for exercise. And he said, Jenny, I think you really ought to go into group fitness. And it's funny, sometimes you just need somebody to push you.
Absolutely.
And so I became a group fitness instructor and absolutely loved it. Did it for years, probably about 12 years, when I had another friend who's just one of those great people in your life that's pushing you, who looked at me one day and said, what's your bucket list?
All right.
And I said, I want to be a personal trainer, but I want this certification that's really hard. And I was holding back because I knew that the time requirement that it would take to go through that certification would be extensive. But she was like, she just do it, Jenny. And I was go for it. And I literally did. I signed up that night and loved it.
Great.
Loved every single part of it. So in January, right before COVID of 2020, I got my certification from the National Academy of Sports Medicine in personal training. And literally the next day after I passed my test, I signed up for nutrition coaching because I know from my mom that the two together are what is most important.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
You have to complement each other.
Absolutely. You have to complement each other. I mean, it's easy to go to the gym for 1 hour. Well, it's not easy, but you can get into a habit of going to the gym for 1 hour every day. But what about those other 23 hours? What are you doing?
Yeah, when you're chugging milkshakes and eating cheeseburgers, it's probably not going to do a lot of good.
Yes. What are you eating? And also your sleeping habits. So anyways, kind of a long answer to your question of how did I get into this? But I'd have to say, really the foundation was my mom, and seeing how much joy and peace and confidence and just what a wonderful life she has had, being able to exercise daily and really just watching her nutritional habits.
That's awesome. And it's kind of funny because I think your story's probably got a lot in common with people that are listening, because when we're working and we're being moms and dads and dealing with kids and careers and all of that stuff, something's got to give.
Yes.
And most often what gives is our personal well-being. So we don't take the time to exercise or work out or even just go for a walk. We don't maybe have the time to, eat right.
Yeah.
It's really easy just to drive through one of the fast foodies and kind of pick something up and stuff it down and go back to work again.
And we do that mindlessly.
Yeah, I do it on a regular basis, as a matter of fact. So we probably need to do something about that. Anyway, but what's kind of cool is that when people get to the point in their life when they're moving on from work, they've got time to live life the way they want to.
Absolutely.
Which sounds like what's kind of happened to you with when your kids got a little older and you could do things you wanted. Well, when people retire, they've got time to do things the way they want. So, I'm sure there are people out there listening going, I don't really want to go down this whole nutrition thing, but I've got time to do it and I should do it.
Yes.
And I think this could be, kind of a nice little inspirational thing to get people kickstarted. So just some basic questions here. I don't, expect you to lay out a whole nutrition plan for someone, because that's going to be an individual deal and everything else. But if, you're getting a little older, maybe you're 60-ish, and you're really not quite sure about where to go with nutrition, where do you start?
Oh, that is a great question. So I would suggest that you start with writing down what you're eating. So I tell people
Probably a scary list.
Knowledge is power. And don't look at it as right or wrong. Just own it. Everybody has a system, right? You have a system of how you brush your teeth in the morning. You have a system how you drive out the driveway every day. Everybody has a system of how they eat. So I would say sit down and maybe write out your system. What does that look like? Does it look the same during the week? Does it look different on the weekends? For so many people, it does. What does your system look like? And then I would say to yourself, okay, what do I want to change about this system? So, or what is now that I do have more time, what is something that I'd like to add to this system? So I wouldn't say that, it doesn't have to be really hard at the very beginning. More just kind of sit back and look at what does your eating life look like? And then, what kind of tweaks and changes.
Yeah, sounds like a reasonable place to start. So do you suggest people kind of track it, write it down for a week or two?
Yes, absolutely. So there are great apps on your phone. Everybody's got a phone now. MyFitnessPal and Lose It are some of my favorites.
Okay.
MyFitnessPal I find very, very user friendly, and there's no reason to, you don't have to buy the premium package with it to work.
So it's free. Okay.
So it's free. Yes. And so I would take at least for 3 weeks. I think anybody can, that's pretty reasonable, and just try to learn your system.
Yeah. So we're not asking them to make any changes in those 3 weeks.
No.
Go about your life, do whatever you want to do. And
exactly.
Just log it.
It will be unbelievable what you will find.
I'm sure.
What you will find. And then you go, oh, I'm eating carbs all day. Or you just start to unravel what your system looks like, because we just go about our days and we're not really pinpointing. We're not being intelligent about what we're eating. It's more mindful. It's habit.
Yeah.
And then often if you sit in front of that pantry and just grab, some nuts here or crackers here. Well, when you're logging it, then you become aware.
You start seeing it.
Yes.
And, take note of all the sauces you're putting on your food. And, you're driving to a little Chick-fil-A and you get some of that Chick-fil-A sauce and with grilled nuggets.
Exactly.
Well, you kind of defeated the purpose of the grilled nuggets.
You've defeated the purpose.
Yeah, so that's good. That's a great place to start. So, all right. So let's say someone takes those steps and they go ahead and they log where they what they've been doing for 3 weeks.
Okay.
And they go, okay, so what do I do now? This is what I'm eating. Do they look for things to eliminate? Do they count calories? Do they try to feel whether or not they want to lose weight or establish a goal of some sort? Is that where they go?
That's a great question. And it'll depend on what their goals are. I mean, typically nowadays, almost 100% of my clients come to me and say, well, through COVID, I put on that extra 30, 15 pounds. So typically people are looking to lose weight. So calories, I mean, the science behind it never has changed. Calories in, calories out. So you would look at how much you are eating, and then you'd say, okay, I've got to be in a deficit in order to reduce calories. But it doesn't have to be drastic. I would suggest somewhere 300 to 500 calories less a day. I mean, that's why you need a nutrition coach.
Right. I get it.
It's not prescriptive. It's not the same. It's custom. It's yes, it's absolutely custom. But you want to cut out some calories. So if that sounds like too much for you, just go for 100 less calories a day. I mean, at the end of the week, you've got 700 less calories than you ate the week before. So you have to know you and know, are you all in or are you just a few toes in? And kind of figure that out. And then from there, you need to track your protein. So a big word that people use, count your macros. And most people are like, well, what are macros?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Okay, macros is a big word for carbs, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. And that's what you're going to find in foods.
The big three.
Big three. And it's just a big word for it. But honestly, what I have found at the end of the day, it's protein. Americans do not eat enough protein. We are carb-aholics.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Carb-aholics. And protein is king. And the reason why is it takes longer for our bodies to digest protein. So when you increase your protein intake, you're just not as hungry. So you're not going to the pantry or the refrigerator as often. And I don't want to get too scientific, but one other thing about protein is it takes our bodies more work, or we burn more calories when we are eating protein. So let's just real fast. You have 100 calorie piece of chicken. Your body is only going to store about 70 of those calories because it takes 30 to digest it.
Wow.
Yeah. So just a little bit of nutrition science.
Kind of
there.
a free calorie deficit there just by eating the right stuff.
Yes.
So that led me to a question I was going to ask a minute ago. So you mentioned the whole calorie thing, and dieting and losing weight can be really confusing.
Absolutely.
And I think so many people have good intentions and they maybe just don't either understand or kind of get off track pretty easily. And you mentioned some people will go all in and some people will just stick a couple toes in. Well, sticking a couple toes in can be pretty frustrating.
It can.
Because you know that you're not doing things the way you were before. Maybe you're eating a little less or you're cutting back on some of the things that are your favorites, but you're not seeing much of a result.
Absolutely.
That can be one of the things that sidetracks people. But where I was going is, so not all calories are created equal, are they? That's
Correct.
where you were going with the protein. So
Correct.
Protein calories are more valuable than carbohydrate calories.
Absolutely. And yes and no.
Okay.
Because complex carbs are a great source of carbs, and we need carbs. So here's my take on it. I don't like the word diet. I don't teach diet.
Okay.
I teach balanced nutrition.
Okay.
So I teach people, I have a fun thing. I say no naked carbs, meaning I don't want you to eat carbohydrates all by themselves. The way that would look is, let's say you have oatmeal in the morning and you're just eating oatmeal. Well, as soon as you do that, your blood sugar spikes. And then, you know that about 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning when you kind of have that fog or you're hungry again, that's because all you ate was a carb for breakfast. So I like to teach people to eat carbs, proteins, and fats together and balance that out, which means you might add a couple of pieces of turkey bacon or Canadian bacon or egg with that oatmeal. Don't eat it alone. So going back, yes, protein is a beautiful macro, but you also need your carbohydrates and your good fats. And those complex carbs, like a steel cut oatmeal, or I love sweet potatoes, quinoa,
Okay.
beans, some brown rice. I mean, it's funny when I start working with people, they're like, oh, I can't eat carbs. And I'm like, no, you need to eat a balanced amount of carbs and proteins. Do I want you eating Reese's Pieces all day? No. Now that carb is completely different from a sweet potato.
Gotcha.
But that's obvious.
So Lucky Charms are probably out.
Lucky Charms are out. You know what though? I say, nothing is out forever. If you said I have a non-negotiable, I love my Lucky Charms, then why don't you find one morning, measure it out, go ahead and put it in your MyFitnessPal or lose it, track it, and build around it.
All right.
And so I'm absolutely not one for, this is not elimination, right? This is moderation, because if you don't give yourself those few things that you like, you are going to find yourself in front of the pantry eating mindlessly.
Yep,
So
I get it.
So I am this is not deprivation. Absolutely not deprivation.
All right.
Yes.
Good. That probably makes people feel a little better.
Yes.
It's tough to cut things out that you really enjoy.
It's tough. And then when you do, that's all you think about.
Right.
And that's the diet mentality of America. I hear people say, well, I was on this diet and I had to take my own chicken to a restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
Who wants to do that? And who can keep it up?
Right.
So I like to teach my clients, how do you go to a restaurant and enjoy the foods that you love?
That's awesome.
Yeah, without walking out with, I'm stuffed or regret. So I teach people like go to the Mexican restaurant. So 10 chips or 100 calories.
Okay.
So you know what? Count out 10 chips, enjoy them, and call it a day.
All right.
Yeah.
That's good. So you can kind of have some flexibility.
Absolutely.
Good. That's really kind of nice. So you mentioned that, the nutrition and the exercise need to be balanced. You need to have a complement of both. So for people who are, looking to get healthy and want to make a couple of changes, even if they don't significantly change their eating habits because they want to lose a lot of weight. Not everyone wants to lose a lot of weight. Some people do, some people don't. But I think exercise and activity is good for everybody, especially as you get a little older. So what does that look like? How do people get started there?
Yeah, absolutely. Exercise not only is good for us physically, but it is good for us mentally and emotionally. If you're a person who has been sedentary and you want to start exercising, walking is a great place, especially for those 55 and older. There is no reason you need to go and run a marathon.
Right.
Just start slow. Just start walking. If I start with a mile, do a mile, a couple of times a week and build up. Now, as we age, we lose muscle mass. So as important as walking is, man, even more important is weight-bearing exercise.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because when our muscles burn fat throughout the day. And so we are just, as we age, we're going to lose muscle mass. And so your metabolism just goes down. It's why people say, why can't I eat like I used to?
Right.
I mean, I hear that all the time. Well, your best defense against that is lifting weights.
Nice.
Now, I'm not saying you have to lift heavy weights. You've got to go in and be a bodybuilder. Absolutely not at all. Light weights, high repetition is a great place to start. So for people, I'll say, go find a group fitness class at your local gym, or nowadays there's so much online. I mean, the sky is the limit between Peloton and the Mirror and every app. I mean, there is no reason, if you're finding a hard time to find a workout, that you shouldn't be.
You're not looking.
You're not looking
Right.
because there are options everywhere.
I agree.
And find one that gives modifications, because you don't want to jump into a class where you are feeling uncomfortable, or you say, I can't keep up with these people.
Right.
But good teachers will give, good classes will give modifications for all different levels, and just start there and own it.
That's great advice,
and enjoy it.
Yeah, so many times people want to start something, whether it's working out or a diet plan or a nutrition plan or a new hobby, and they don't take the first step because they're so unsure about it. So this is one of those deals you just got to kind of dive in.
Absolutely. Showing up is the hardest part.
Yep.
It's much harder than the exercise class.
Absolutely.
But ending the exercise class is so much fun. And the community that you form with other people is so important. So I teach 3 outdoor workouts a week. It's a women only class.
Nice.
And man, we celebrated one of the participants this morning. Today was her 63rd birthday.
Very cool.
It was so exciting. Debbie was like, this is how I'm starting my day, which was great.
Nice.
And so I do encourage people to find that community. Wherever you go, find a place where people are looking for you, and it makes it easier to show up.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So how can people get in touch with you if they want to take you up on maybe learning a little more about nutrition or training or whatever? How can they get in touch with you?
Thank you. So a couple of ways. I have a website. It's Way Better with Jenny, WEIGH. My mom actually came up with the name of my business because she says so often I'll be talking about things and I'll say, oh, that's way better. And so we kind of took that play on words.
Perfect.
But I'm also on Instagram. In fact, I would say Instagram is a great place to start because I do something called Good, Better, Best every other week where we highlight a food group in the grocery store. So like this week it was granola, and I give you kind of a good option, a better option, and a best option. And so those are really fun. And then I also have workouts on there. Okay. This morning I have just a quick 5-minute ab workout that you can add to maybe the end of a walk. So Instagram and it's just the same name, Way Better with Jenny.
Way Better with
Jenny.
Way Better
with Jenny, one word. And follow me. That would be great.
All right, good. So we got Instagram. We've got your website.
My website,
and
yes.
You're here in the Alpharetta area?
Yes, I sure am. I'm here in the Alpharetta area. I have 3 outdoor workouts. Like I said, 2 are in Milton, Alpharetta area, and 1 in Roswell. So, but just, text me. I have my phone number there on my Instagram, or DM me, and I can tell you exactly where to go, what to bring.
All right, good. Yes. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming in today. This was really
for having me.
A cool conversation, and I think it should be really helpful to some people who were looking to get healthy in retirement. So thanks for coming in.
Okay, thank you for having
me.
Really
appreciate it. And I want to thank everyone for listening to another episode of When Good Things Happen. This was fun today. Jenny was great to talk to. I think she has some really good tips that can help anyone out that's looking to get a little more healthy in the future here and in 2022. So remember to check us out on the web at 3bfg.com. You can also subscribe to the podcast on any of the podcast outlets. Appreciate you listening, and we'll talk to you again soon. See ya.
Thank you for listening to When Good Things Happen. If you enjoyed today's show, visit whengoodthingshappen.com to share your retirement lifestyle dream, access information about our guests, and sign up for our newsletter. Be sure to rate and review us wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Three Bridges Financial Group is an independent financial services firm that utilizes a variety of investment and insurance products. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC, AEWM. AEWM and Three Bridges Financial Group are not affiliated companies. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as a sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Three Bridges Financial Group is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute as tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Three Bridges Financial Group.